Okay, this is happening at Dr. Mukherjee, first of all. It's happening on the 22nd of October. We have 14 bouts total, and that's going to be 7 bouts of K1 and 7 bouts of MMA. And we have fighters coming in from all around India, as well as we are mostly focusing on bringing the Goan youth up.
How many Goans are there? How many Goans are there?
We have right now in the main event, we have one, and in the co-main event, we have another, who are present with us today, and you can have those questions forwarded to them. Yes?
My question to Master Rahi, you've been around in this field for a long time ago. I've seen you at a lot of events, including the one recently at Navelim. So I would want to know is what are the striking features of Goa Combat 2022?
Striking features are us and some people. But apart from that, the striking event of GOA Alpha event is to put on a fantastic show. Make sure the fighters are well taken care of, medically, as well as equipment-wise and safety-wise. We try to do the best that the fighters will need to be at this event.
And what is the kind of the reputation or the achievement that the fighters are going to come here? If you can introduce some of those fighters.
Okay. For the fighter and fighters' reputations and all, we literally pick fighters depending on their documented data on Sherdog, Tapology, which is like all around global. So their data are booked in over there. Anybody with the names, the fighter's name, you can literally check them out and then bring them in. We have the fighter standards when we bring them in. Yes? Any other questions?
What are the various styles of fighting that we can see at Goa Combat?
Okay. The various fight styles, mostly like how I explained in the beginning, this is a K1 bout and then MMA bout. But for people who don't know what is MMA, MMA is a mixture of martial arts. A lot of people are mostly introduced for K1, Taekwondo. Goa is mostly highly sports that runs in Goa is like Taekwondo, Judo, Karate. But MMA is something that you'll get to see a mixture of a lot of sports. That is like wrestling. It can be Sambo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's a mixture of sports, all put in together. Yes? Anything else?
What is K1?
K1 is a kickboxing. So, okay, more information of K1 if you would like to know is K1 is a mixture in between the Muay Thai and a kickboxing. Because in Muay Thai, we usually use our elbows and knees. So back in time when kickboxing was really in a hype, Muay Thai was just coming up. So for the fighters to come in together, they made a in-between bouts. That was K1, where the fighters could knee but no elbows.
So basically, the thing about kickboxing, kickboxing came from ancient sports out of Asia. When American soldiers were in Vietnam and other parts of the world, they learned traditional martial arts. So when they went back to America, the karate scene was quite hot in America. But what was happening was lots of restrictions was going on. So some of the top fighters like Joe Louis, those kind of guys, they decided they wanted something a little bit more freestyle. So they mixed boxing with traditional Asian martial art. This is where kickboxing developed from.
What do you envision the legacy of Goa Combat 22? What would you want?
Well, the legacy of GOA Combat 22, what happened is that in 2015, along here with Nelson, Mohan, we had our very first MMA event in Goa back in 2015 in Tito's. I'm sure some of you may have remember that. So Nelson was the first one to bring MMA to Goa. The legacies of that is that we're picking up the mantle and running a little bit further with that. Yes, please.
How do you see the sport growing in the country in the next 5 years? And how will this event help us in taking the sport forward?
In the next 5 years, I think Asia itself will be the sporting place to be. If you look at what's happening in other parts of Asia, You know, martial arts is just, like Sen said earlier on. Back in the day, it was taekwondo, kickboxing and all that stuff. Now, Thai boxing came up and everything. Now the development of MMA is now taking it to another level. India has fantastic amount of people in the country. This is why a lot of outside influencers from other parts of the world are coming to India, because they see the potential financially as well as talent-wise. So for us, in the next 5 years or so, we open to that GOA will become, you know, the home of MMA in India.
So from what we know, that GOA Alpha event is not something which is temporary, but not like other events. And from what we heard, it's going to be here for a long time. So we are
Far from being temporary.
Yeah.
You know, we have a plan for the next 5 years at least. Okay, so minimum we're going to be here for 5 years. You know, hopefully with you guys supporting the development of martial arts in Goa and these young athletes in the state, you know, we can go a long way. The long term of GOA Alpha event is to be challenging the rest of the world as a martial arts organization.
Can you tell us how you plan to do this in the coming years?
Well, in the next coming years, firstly, you know, when this was put together, you know, I had to select the right people that I think that was capable of doing the job. So we had, you know, we had many conversations, many people was involved, many people dropped out because they couldn't see beyond this event. Okay, so that took place. Again, we had lots of drawings about our logo, where it's going to go, and all this kind of stuff. Eventually, we're at this beautiful logo what we have today. We have some plans to put some training camps in place for a lot of these young fighters. They do struggle along the way when they, you know, want to compete. A lot of the guys in India haven't got funds to travel outside of India to compete. So what we plan to do is to bring them here. You know, so these local guys that who doesn't have this kind of expense to travel outside of the country, will put those things in place for them. We also plan to do academies where we will bring international fighters into the country and train young local Goans as well as people in India to become, you know, top martial artists.
Also, to add to what Coach said, it's not just about a tournament that's happening. So it's not just about having fights every year. The vision of the entire brand, which is GOA Alpha, is also helping the community out. For example, as Coach said, we're doing training centers, right? We're going to have an established trainers coming down, teaching people how to get better at the art form. But not just that. So when we were growing up as kids, we used to like have these cliched courses like arts and craft and small games in playground schools. But now people are evolving. People have their children. They want to have a better structure in school. So we're planning on doing self-defense classes in all the schools around Goa. And not just that, we have a lot of underprivileged children as well in our community, and we plan on having maybe early classes once a month, twice a month for underprivileged children to come and learn the art form, so they're giving back to the community as well. So we're going to be diversifying into an NGO-based system as well. And also now children and a lot of youth right now having a lot of mental health issues and body positivity issues. We want them to feel more comfortable in their skin, and this kind of defense art form makes you feel more confident, more comfortable. It's not about going and fighting with somebody else. It's just having your peace of mind to be able to defend yourself if you come into a particular situation. So that's more of what we are planning to progress in the next 5 years. It's not just the combat form, but also giving back to the community, and part of being in a nightlife for the past 8-9 years now. Goa as a tourism state is transforming, evolving into different tastes and different sectors also. So we're trying to give Goa as a state a little bit different tourism as well, get people outside Goa to come to our city, come watch this kind of art form as well. So pushing tourism as well in the state a little differently. So that's our aim, to teach people a new sector and invite them to our place.
Francis, I have a question for you. Francis,
Yes.
so, and now you're coaching, you have your own academy.
Yes.
So how have you seen the sport grow over the years?
Right. Thank you for the question, Prathamesh. Firstly, I want to congratulate my friend Rahim for putting up this mega event. And definitely Goa needs something like this. And we're very excited to headline this event along with my fighter here. His name is Ravi. And sorry, coming back to your question, how has my journey been in the MMA up until now? Sorry, I got lost with your question.
Yeah. So how have you seen the sport grow over the years?
Right. So we started MMA in the year 2015 with Rahim and the other team. We had our first event in 2015, and since then until now, the sport has gone a little stagnant, specifically in Goa. Not otherwise around the world. It's doing very well, but you know, I had to go out and travel and fight, and it's been very challenging for me. But I took it on, and most of the competitions was abroad, so it's been no complaints. But it's been a good success for me. Today I have a lot of skill and expertise that I'm able to give it to the youth that are sitting around me, and I wish all the fighters here good luck.
Yeah, Mo and myself was at the first event that Nelson took place in Tito's. It was a fantastic event. The crowd went wild. It was crazy. You know, Goa Alpha event, like I said, is on another level. You know, in terms of what we plan for the state of Goa.
I have a question. What about the ticket sales and when are they going to be out?
We are waiting for this press conference to happen so we get a little bit more hype build up. So tomorrow our tickets are going to be live. And speaking of tickets, our eventual plan for the next year, which we are going to be having the same combat tournament, we are going to be on all OTT platforms as well. So we plan on going across pan-India, not just stick to a Goa level. So tickets will be out for sale tomorrow, and yeah, it's already, the websites are set up, links set up, so we'll get back to you on that. Tomorrow it's going to be live for sure.
Another question I have, I can see all guys. Is it difficult to get girls for the fight?
Well, I think, yeah, definitely all the promotions and everything that's flying around, yeah, it looks like as if we are promoting the men athletes, but it is not like that, okay? We are very welcoming for all the ladies, all the women athletes coming in and participating. See, there are many factors that play into. We try contacting the clubs, coaches, personally the athletes also. And since, like we are talking about it, MMA is happening around, right? So they are already preparing for another event, or sometimes those factors come in like, you know, weight classes doesn't match in and the fight doesn't happen. So a lot of those factors play in. But coming back to your, again, a very difficulty of having women into the sport, there is no difficulty. You can see that, you know, women are already competing all around India. You can see even our Ritu Fogart, if you have already R&D'd about her, maybe. Okay, she's already fighting in one championship and all that stuff. So I think that's what I have to say about it.
Actually, we're right here in the crowd with us.
Yeah.
You know, can you stand up, please? Okay. We were trying to get a match for her, but going back to the point what Shen said about matching up the weights and everything, we just couldn't get a match for her. But, you know, we have plans for her to be fighting in the next event.
Diversification in the group now.
Yes, you can throw some questions at her.
I would like to now throw the floor open to questions for the fighters. I would like to introduce the fighters with us here today. We have Ravi Saw with us, who is an MMA fighter and trainer from Maharashtra. He will be fighting the main card at the Goa Combat 2022, representing Nelson Pies Fitness Club. He will be representing India against a very strong international opponent, Rabindra Dan from Nepal. We also have with us Shera Konkani, professional martial artist fighting the main card in the K1 event. He has been training in martial arts for almost 20 years. 10-time national taekwondo gold medalist, 3 times national kickboxing gold medalist, and 4 times South Asian taekwondo gold medalist. He aims to take his name and country to the world stage in martial arts. We have Arun Bista, hailing from Maharashtra. He is one of the co-main MMA fighters representing Fitness Factory Palkar at Goa Combat 2022. He is fighting against his opponent Fahad Khan to prove himself as a better fighter and come out victorious.
Difficult is it to even have a dream of becoming a professional MMA fighter in India? Can you repeat the question? I just said that how tough is it to even dream of having a professional career, professional MMA career in India?
It's not as easy as you think it is. It's really tough maintaining a diet throughout the year and having 3 sessions a day, having the weight cut, and the weight cut isn't easy, like not a 2 kilo, 3 kilo cut, it's a huge 8 kilo, 10 kilo cut for per fighter. And we also have a lot of issues going behind the scenes, like at your house, and we have a lot of issues otherwise. It's, the real battle is outside the cage, not inside the cage. We are all prepared up, all ready for this fight, and let's get the victory to go on, let's go.
Anybody else has to add?
एक्चुअली इससे भी बहुत ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम्स है फ्रॉम हमें प्रो में घुसने से पहले एमेच्योर में जाना पड़ता है, जिसके लिए एक्चुअली हमें खुद का पैसा पे करके खुद का एकोमोडेशन देखना, खाना पीना देखना, इंजरीज देखना, ये सब प्रॉब्लम होने के बाद भी हम लोग प्रो में घुसते हैं। वो भी अराउंड 50-60 एमेच्योर्स खेलने के बाद प्रो का चांस मिलता है। उसमें भी हम इंडिया में एक इशू है, हर जगह प्रो को वो फैसिलिटी नहीं मिलती, वो एकोमोडेशन और वो परसों ही उनका नहीं मिलता है, उनका जो हक बनता है, जो मोस्टली इंडिया में नहीं मिला है। मैंने भी एक्चुअली बहुत सारे इवेंट्स किए जिसमें ना मेरे प्रॉपर रिकॉर्ड्स बिल्ड हुए, ना प्रॉपर मुझे ट्रीटमेंट हुआ, फैसिलिटी हुआ है। मैंने एक्चुअली one of my fight I got my ankle injury and from there वहाँ से मैं लगड़ते हुए घर पे गया हूँ, अपना ट्रीटमेंट सेल्फ किया हूँ। ये सब हमको फेस करने के बाद भी हमें हमारा ड्रीम पूरा करना था, इसीलिए आज भी कंटिन्यू लगे हैं और ये जब तक करेंगे, जब तक हमारे में जान है तब तक करेंगे और हमारा ड्रीम पूरा करेंगे और हम एक टाइम चैंपियन बनेंगे, तब जाके ड्रीम रुकेगा हमारा।
Just 1 minute, guys. Guys, you press being here. You guys can help these fighters a lot. You have a voice that you can put across to all these corporations, to the government, where these guys actually need his help. You guys can make it happen for them. You can really make that change for these guys. So, we appreciate you being here. Like you said, there's a lot of struggle for these guys. Back in England, when I was competing, more or less everything was taken care of for us. We belong to an organization, our flights, our accommodation, being part of the team, they would just pay for everything for us. These guys have to take care of every single little detail for competing by themselves. It is very tough out there. So, we'll appreciate if you guys can help these guys a little bit. Going back to us at GOA Event, we try to give these guys the best that we can give them. If you look at some of these medals here, these are top class medals that we purchased for these guys. So when they come, they're not getting a piece of tin. They're getting a solid medal. Also we have larger medals. We pay for their accommodation. We pay for their travel to get into the state. We're taking care of everything for them. So GOA Event is doing their best to make these guys feel like they're a prestigious event anywhere in the world. So if you guys could just help them along the way, things will get better for all of us in India.
Just wanted to check if the lady at the back can also give her perspective. It's all been a meal.
I don't really have partners who can really train with me, so I train with all the men there, and it's difficult. But my love for the sport is always making me push through. So yeah.
Changing facilities. A lot of the time this is a major problem for girls. There's no way for them to change. And so all these things we need to take care of.
Can I ask a question to
Subscribe Prudent social media channel and press bell icon for latest notifications.